Hello, everyone. This is Demia Avery in conjunction with ConnectCapeFear.com. We have a very lovely lady here with us today. We have Jen Brown of Journey of Grace Coaching. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It is great to meet you.
Oh, you're so welcome. You guys, she just has this sunshine about her. I just love it. I just
I'm just mirroring it back to you.
thank you. So tell everyone a little bit about yourself and also about your coaching service.
Well, thank you so much. I am a life and leadership coach, certified through the International Coaching Federation. And I got into coaching because I myself was in need of a coach.
Mm,
I spent about 23 years with the Department of State in the federal government. And at one point, I became a burned out leader.
mm.
And so I needed help, and that changed everything for me.
I'm sure a lot of people can identify to that.
Burnout, overwhelm, highly stressed out,
Mhm.
taking so much control over everything and not empowering my team fully, like all the things that you think you're doing right,
Yeah.
but you're not.
Mm. Well, that leads me to something. I love the name of your service. So, Journey of Grace. What does that mean to you? Why did you name, your business that?
Grace is so important to me. I think one of the hardest challenges I have had is allowing myself to receive grace and
Mm,
feel grace.
mm.
And I just wanted to be able to help other people receive the grace and feel the grace
Yeah.
that is so available to all of us,
Yeah.
and to be able to help extend it to others, to be the light
Right.
out in the world. And so Journey of Grace is just about the walk that we are all on.
Yeah. So, what do you most love about what you do?
What I love is being able to be with people in a moment of what feels like pain, where they're feeling stuck,
Mm-hmm.
numb, and being able to come in beside them and help see the options that are out there, do that mindset work, and help provide a concrete action plan that produces results where people go where they want to go and
Yeah.
see that shift. That is what is so special. They are trusting me with a very special part of their life.
Yeah.
And I get to hold space with them when it's hard,
Mm-hmm.
when the shifts happen and transformation is there, and you see that on their face. It's just beautiful. And it's just such a gift
Yeah.
to be able to stand with somebody right beside them through the pain
Mm.
to the other side.
So, with a lot of people have their own idea of what life coaching is.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind just telling us what exactly is life coaching? Is it motivational coaching? Is it, because everybody has these different categories.
Sure.
So, what do you say life coaching is?
So, life and leadership coaching is really looking at where are you now
Hmm.
and where do you want to go? Where are the pain points where
Okay.
you are right now?
Hmm.
And even if you're not in a pain point and you're looking for professional or personal growth, right? It's that what's next point.
Mm.
So, what coaching is not, and this is an important point that I really like to distinguish here, coaching is not counseling and therapy. It
Mm.
is not mentoring or consulting.
Okay.
So, counseling and therapy is really working with the certified medical providers in trauma, past wounds, deep emotional wounds.
Okay.
And coaching does not do that.
Okay.
So, counseling and therapy certainly will also look forward. Coaching is really based on the present to the forward look.
Got it.
And of course, mentoring and consulting is more of that how to, providing a real tangible action plan or strategy. Coaching is not going to do that either.
Yeah.
Coaching does work with our clients in a way that empowers them to really dig deep. And I know it sounds so cliche to say find the answers that are within them, but the answers really are.
Yeah.
It's having someone else hold that space for you to be able to think in a way that really allows creativity and possibility.
Mm, I love that. So, speaking of what you just said, what how can I say this? What does your program entail? Like, how do what services do I get from you?
That is a wonderful question.
Mm,
Thank you. So, first, I want us to just stop and think about why people come to coaching.
Okay.
We're in a place where something feels off at work, at home. We are leaders from wherever we stand.
Hmm.
And so we are looking for that next step, whether it's a transition, whether it's that next career milestone, whether there is a relationship at home, our own identity. And so as we look at that purpose for
Hmm.
coaching, the first step is really let's acknowledge where we are right now.
Okay.
And I work with clients mostly in a one on one individual capacity because I like to go deep in that personal attention.
Yeah.
And so once we start with looking at where the client is now and getting clear on what it is the client wants
Hmm.
in alignment with their values,
Right.
what is that purpose that is pulling them toward a result?
Mhm.
Once we're clear on that piece, then I work with clients to say, let's take a step back. And if you want this particular result, then let's really look at what actions you need to take
Mm.
to get to that result.
Okay.
This is more than goal setting. This
Yeah.
is really living out the process of how we get to where we want to go.
Okay.
And so, from a place of understanding what actions a client needs to take, right?
Hmm.
And this is the client coming up with what is right for them. This
Okay.
isn't what I think.
Okay.
This is about what the client really will commit to.
Hmm.
And then we take another step back and we think about, well, what feelings do you need to feel in order to take those actions?
Mm.
So the example that I will give, even though I'm not a fitness coach,
Yeah.
is if I say I'm going to go to the gym at 5 a.m., well, what feeling do I need to feel at 5 a.m. to make me get out of bed
Hmm.
and go to the gym?
Right.
Well, then we're going to step back again and we're going to say, well, what thoughts are going to create those feelings?
Got it.
So this is really getting deep within the thought work.
Hmm.
For me to be committed to the action that I have said, I need to be able to consciously, intentionally create the thoughts that will give me the feelings to make me take action that will lead me to my results. So the coach's job is really to help the client see that whole path,
Okay.
that whole journey, and help them create the steps that they need to lead to results. And there's a level of accountability, right?
I was
Because
just going to say that you're going to keep us accountable for our stuff. Yeah.
and that is it. I don't know about you, but how many times have I said I'm going to go do something and creating a new habit is hard.
You telling me?
It is hard.
Yeah. Yeah. What type of clients do you get? Do you get just individual clients, or do you also get like corporate clients as well?
So I am in this stage. This is one of the beautiful parts of my journey. I
Mhm.
moved here not quite a year ago. I was still with the federal government and I served as an internal leadership coach with the Department of State.
Okay.
And so, as I am now fully in Journey of Grace coaching, I am working with new clients. So, small business owners, individuals who are employed, either self employed or working for companies, and just they're finding, I'm seeing they're in different places in their lives. So, it's really neat about who is looking for coaching.
Yeah.
So, really, I am open to anyone in that leadership role who is feeling burned out, stressed out, lost, thinking that transition is coming. And how do I prepare for this? I'm a single mom. My kid went off to college this past year. I moved here. I changed jobs. I get transition. And so, really working with people, and again, leaders lead from wherever they are.
Hmm.
And so, how do you want to move forward?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the obstacles in your way of where you want to go? And, on the transition point, I think it's also important to note that a lot of times we think, I need to change jobs. I need to move. I need to change my relationship
Hmm.
in order to get to that next step.
Right. Right.
I would argue that we have to do the internal work before we make the external
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah. Because we just do whatever. We're very what's the word? Impulsive.
Yes. Yes. Before I made the changes in my life, I did work through them for a few years. There
Yeah.
were my identity was wrapped in my prior career and in being a mom,
Hmm.
and I knew that just moving location would not be just the answer.
Yeah.
So it is stepping back to do that internal work
Hmm.
before we make the external the external changes, not in an impulsive way.
Right. Now, I know you work with a lot of different people, and there are a lot of different reasons as to why people come to you.
Yes.
Is there one specific struggle that you find that people have the most?
Overwhelm,
Really?
overwhelm.
Okay. Wow.
Not so it may be how to communicate up
Hmm.
to a boss, to a difficult boss, feeling that the workload is all on them, being from a place of how do I separate all this work from my home life?
Hmm.
How do I do that internal transition?
Yeah.
What comes next in life? So it's
Mm.
really how we communicate, how we spend our time, and how we empower others in our lives,
Mm.
which can be really difficult for high achievers to
Yeah.
delegate.
Yeah. Wow. And it must be, how do you deal? You coach people all of the time, and you coach a lot of different people all of the time. They have different reasons and different reasons.
Yeah.
Do you find it hard to let that go when you go home for the day?
Oh, this is such a great question. And so I am very intentional about my coaching space. So prior to being on a call with a client,
Mhm.
and right now my coaching is virtual. I am open to in person, and I would love to do walk and talks on the beach. I'll put a little plug out there
That's
to
right.
everybody listening. Um, prior to being in that space with the client, I give myself space to be grounded
Mm.
and really be focused on the client with whom I'm going to speak and
Mhm.
being in that space with them.
Okay.
I am very intentional. I also give myself the space after the call to just make a note of any follow-up actions that I may have or that the client may have so that whatever those next steps are, I'm
Mhm.
tracking that. And also just to let go of what was said in that call
Yeah.
because sometimes it is very deep.
Mhm.
That said, sometimes something will come to me after the call, and I may read an article or think of something, and I may send the client a quick note just because you're in a coaching relationship that we have co-created, and
Yeah.
so it is a special place. And so it's not like the call's done. No,
Yeah.
that does not happen.
Mm. Now, if you could name something about your business that makes you different or unique, what would it be? I can see something. You know what? When she first came in, I have to say this.
Okay.
It's just this aura that you have about you. So when I face people that have that type of aura, it's easy for me to trust that person to be like, I'm okay with talking to her about, and again, this is not counseling, but
Right.
it's okay to talk to her about the coaching that I actually need. And I know that it can cross between business and personal
Right.
sometimes.
It does.
So how would you say you set yourself apart from other coaches?
I really look at holistic coaching.
Mhm.
We
That's what
don't
I'm reading.
yeah. And the reason why is because I mentioned I had a leadership coach, and that was amazing, truly helped me unlock the keys to success in that particular career, in that particular assignment that I had, that job. And then a few years later, I went through some personal transitions.
Okay.
And I had another coach, another wonderful coach. And what I really saw is I'm one person. I still have a career
Yeah.
and I'm going through personal trying times. Well, it's hard to really compartmentalize our lives.
Yeah.
And so, what's important to me is seeing a full person and walking through. You may tell me that your big goal is this thing up here, and each coaching session may have will have a smaller goal under it, and which may be personal, which may be career, and it's all feeding up to your larger goal.
Yeah.
And that is the beautifulness of coaching
Mm.
because I get to help the client remember that overarching goal and see how these pieces feed together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is something that people most misunderstand about life coaching? Is it that is it the counseling thing? Would you say?
A bit of the counseling, perhaps a bit more on the consulting side, thinking that the coach will have the answers for them. And
Mm.
I do admit, right, there may be a place where in my leadership background, I have tools that maybe would be helpful to the client. In rare cases, I will say, if you're open, may I take off my coaching hat and put on a consulting hat
Love that.
to share something with you?
Mhm.
But coaching is really about the client, not about my experience.
Mm.
And so those cases, those instances really need to be rare.
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind, can you take us to a moment when you knew that life coaching was your calling?
It actually was when I was going through my personal challenges, and I had an amazing coach,
Mhm.
and she helped me break through a place where I felt so lost and so stuck and really couldn't see the possibilities that were out there. And when I got to that other side, I just knew I wanted to be able to help people that way.
Yeah.
And so with the clients with whom I've worked over the years,
Mhm.
when I hear I'm channeling you, I hear your voice.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes,
Yay.
they're there. That's like the
Yeah.
best victory ever because they have the tools
Yeah.
to think through what it is they want and how to get there.
Now, we talked about your calling, but how about, is there a story you could tell us about maybe someone that you may have transformed their situation that may continue to help inspire you to continue to do your work?
Yes. So as I was mentioning, there's a particular client who was going through a lot of challenges professionally
Mhm.
and not quite sure where the person wanted to go next.
Okay.
And so we really stepped back to question what are your values and where do you want to go, like what is it, because we don't have to stay in a particular career. We do have options. It may feel like we don't.
Mhm.
And one thing that I love, and I'll just share this, I'm also doing leadership coach training through the John Maxwell leadership team.
Love John Maxwell.
I love him. And in his book Intentional Living, he asked 3 questions. What do you cry about?
Mm.
What do you sing about? And what do you dream about? And just thinking through those broader questions and the work that I was doing with this particular client,
Mhm.
we she just got creative. This client was just amazing in looking at all of her resources and her strengths.
Mhm.
So often we listen to that inner critic voice of I'm not good enough
Mhm.
and I'm stuck. But when we start to look at the strengths that we have, then we can start to see the possibilities.
Yeah.
And so the world started to open up for this client in a way that just made me say, yes, this is why I do this.
I love that. I love that. And there's something you remind me of something that my mother said. She used to tell me that you're never stuck. It may be something that you might not want to do,
Yes,
but you're never stuck.
we have options. We have options. Part of it, though, is we have to understand the obstacles
Hmm.
that are in our way
Yeah.
and to anticipate when those obstacles are going to appear, even if they're not directly there.
Mm.
Once we are aware of where those challenges are, we get to choose
Yeah.
how we think and then how we feel and act.
Yeah. Love it. Now, what advice would you give to someone that's just starting their growth journey?
Oh, what a beautiful thing. One, start early.
Mm.
Start early and be intentional.
Yeah.
Do an hour a day. If that's too much, do 30 minutes a day. But create one of the things in the Maxwell program is create that personal growth plan
Yeah.
and look at where it is that you want to go. Where are the skills that you might need to shore up?
Mm.
Where are your strengths that you want to tap into?
Yeah.
What are you passionate about?
Love
What impact do you want to make? So, having those bigger questions will help guide you
it. Hmm.
on the specific actions to take every day. But read, listen to podcasts,
Yeah.
be intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, connectcapefear.com is a big advocate for um, supporting others in the community.
Yeah.
How about you? Is your business involved in the community at all?
This is exactly where I am. I'm so excited in this space. So I transitioned out of the federal government just about a month ago now.
Okay.
So still pretty new in this space.
Mhm.
And I am out in the community looking at organizations with whom I can partner and how I can
Mm.
give back. This is very important to me. A couple of organizations I've looked at, Step Up Wilmington, Good Shepherd.
Mhm.
I'm looking at where can my background provide value?
Yeah.
How can I partner? That is super important to me to be able to help people find their second, third, whatever number chance
Yeah.
in life to be able to feel their value.
Yeah.
Another space that's really important to me, and I haven't figured out my partnership on this yet, but I'm announcing it because it is that important to me,
Okay.
is I want to be able to add value in the domestic violence
Mm.
space. I'm not a counselor or therapist, and I've said that. And I still feel very passionately about being able to offer service somehow in that capacity
Mm. I
for
love that.
support.
And that also goes in line with what's different about
Yes.
your coaching. So I love that. I love that. Now, if someone was interested in your services, how would they get in contact with you, and where do they go to reach Jim Brown?
Oh, thank you. Well, my website is journeyofgracecoaching.com. My email is jen@journeyofgracecoaching.com. Pretty easy there.
Mhm.
I'm on LinkedIn, Jen Brown, one N, Jen Brown dash coach. And Instagram is Jen, one N, underscore Journey of Grace.
Love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank Jim Brown for coming in, sharing her light with us today. Make sure you check out her website and all her social media. I know she's going to get you guys together. So we are out of here. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you so much.